All right, welcome back. The KwaZulu-Natal Liquor Authority is suspending the license for a Pietermaritzburg tavern. It was the scene of a shooting over the weekend in which 4 people were killed and 7 more wounded. Our reporter Mangoba Mkunu joins us from KZN this morning. Good morning, Mangoba. Has the license been suspended already, or the Liquor Authority is looking to suspend?
Well, I can certainly confirm to you that the liquor license has been suspended. In fact, we just got a confirmation from the KwaZulu-Natal Liquor Authority confirming, of course, that after an investigation that it had carried out, it has ultimately found that the outlet was not in compliance with the license conditions and putting the security measures at the particular site as it had promised. Of course, during its application, it says that when they applied for this license, they had made a commitment in their security plan that they will ensure that their patrons are searched for firearms and other weapons before entering the premises. But of course, I say this was not the case on Saturday when those 2 gunmen stormed into the tavern. What happened there, they're saying that it's clear that there was a breach when it comes to security. And what you're seeing now, Mfundo, is a memorial service that is expected to take place here in this particular place for the 4 victims that lost their lives. But I want to bring in quickly the owner of the tavern, Samgeliswe Tavern, just to speak to us about this breaking news. Babu Mtambo, thank you very much for your time. Let's start here, Babu Mtambo. The KZN Liquor Authority suspending your license. Are you aware of this?
No, angazi lutho ngalokho. Yeah. Abakakhuluma lutho nama bakangitshela lutho kodwa futhi angikwazi umthetho ekuthiwa ngiweqile. Ngoba ama security nginawo abantu abangasesheki kahle abantu besifazane ngoba anginabo abesifazane abaseshayo. Kodwa nje abantu mabengene ngaphakathi bayaseshwa.
So ke baba bathi bona awuhambisanga ngendlela when it comes to security. Bathi plan yakho, the security plan you submitted to them you had stipulated that you need security inside the premises, you need security within a 5-kilometer radius of the tavern, and they're saying that you have simply breached this, you didn't follow that.
No, akukho engibona ukuthi ngiweqile mina ngoba ama security nawo futhi ayiwenza umsebenzi wawo. Kodwa umuntu ongena nenhloso yakhe mhlambe waye ngakufihlayo kodwa nyama security nayo mhlambe ke umuntu wesifazane uyena ke ongasesheki kahle ngoba anginabo abesifazane abaseshayo.
Kungani bengekho abantu besifazane bamntama?
Lokho azange sikuhlelele ukuthi kube khona abantu besifazane kodwa amadoda kuphela akhona seshwayo.
So ke baba kuthiwa kukhona negligence ekhona. Zophinda kubuza futhi lo mbuzo ngakubuza futhi wena ukuthi kukhona irresponsibility wena ozoyithatha kukho konke lokho.
Phela kufanele ukuthi ngiqhubeke ngesahlakalo esehlekile esenzekile njengamanje. Kufanele ukuthi ngiqhubeke makuukuthi i-security ngiyenza ibe tighter kunalokho kufanele ngikwenze lokho.
Ngokohlelo wena olunikeze bona be-liquor board wawukade uthembiseni uthembisa ukuthi security yakhe izoba njani ba?
Akukho okuningi kwi-liquor board abakushoyo nge-security ngaphandle ukuthi yenza nje bathi nje iba ne-security right ngaba nayo i-security ebekhona njengamanje. So umthetho engiweqileke angikwazi ukuthi mabethi ngekho umthetho engiweqile.
Bathi baba abantu abangenayo bekumele basethwe ngenkathi bengena, lokho akwenzekanga njengoba kukhona abantu abangene nezibhamu.
Cha, kuyenzeka bayaseshwa abantu. Mhlambe umuntu ongangena nesibhamu mhlambe mayisinika intombazane kube intombazane ibiseshwa indoda ngala. Angikholwa ukuthi mina khona engikwenzile okurong ngaphandle ukuthi ke makuukuthi ke kutholakala ukuthi ngenzeka kube intombazane makudubuleke ngaphakathi umuntu engene nesibhamu ngaba intombazane hayi umuntu wesilisa abantu besilisa bayaseshwa.
Bangakubona nogado bunabo nabe bekhona ngalela langa.
Okay, nogado enginabo babili.
Bebesesha abantu. Kodwa ke baba nakho bakwazile ukungena nabanye ababili badubula lapha yana.
Yilento engishoyo ukuthi ke ukuthi bangene kanje lo ungene kanjani nesibhamu iloko ke okuseyinkinga.
So ke baba kuphatha kanjani ukuthi uzwe lezi indaba zokuthi license yakho i-suspendiwe?
Ngikuzwa ngawe lokho bengingakathintana nabakalika nje wena ongitshela lokho mina angikwazi ngempela lokho ngoba angikwazi ukuyikona engikweqile.
Zikhona mhlawumbe inyathelo zoyithatha wena baba ukuzama ukuthola noma ukuzama ukuxazulula le ndaba?
Iphi yona indaba engizoyiqala?
Lokuthi bakususpend license yakho.
Ngizokuzwa ukubona mabe suspend license bayisuspendela ukuthini yini engiyonile mina.
ubona ukuthi le process ibefe njengoba wena uthi uzwa ngathi manje ubona kanjani ngale process ukuthi kuze kufinyelele kuloko baye bakutshela mhlawumbe ukuthi baphenyane baye bakwazisa ukuthi kwenzakalani
njengoba ngikutshela nje ukuthi angakhulumi nabakalika angazi ukuthi mhlambe bona ma bethathe decision ngalena ke bayithathe kanjani mina ngingazi lutho futhi abafika ngabachazela ukuthi nginawo ama security.
Okay. Well, there was a tavern owner, Petros Mtambo, just telling us that it's the first time that he's hearing that his license has been suspended. Of course, he says that he has not been aware, he has not even heard from the liquor authority here in KwaZulu-Natal as far as that is concerned. He says the last time, in fact, they had seen him was on Monday, and he says that it is taking him quite a surprise, Fundo, that his license has now been suspended. He says that he had a security plan in place at his tavern. There were 2 security guards that were stationed at the gate, and those 2 security guards were meant to actually, vet those people that were coming in and to search them for any firearms. But he says that it's quite unfortunate what happened because they were also taken by surprise. I did pose a question as to whether they did actually search these people when they were coming into his establishment, and he does indicate that he's not quite sure of that because they are supposed to search those people. But he says that according to the conditions that he had signed up to, his agreement was that he's going to provide security at his establishment. He says it does have 2 guards, but what it does not have are female security guards that search female patrons. He says that perhaps this is something that he also needs to look into. But as far as that is concerned, the suspension of the license, he says that he doesn't see anything wrong that he has done as the owner. He did provide security in that particular establishment, and so he thinks that the decision is not really a fair one, and is still saying that he's hoping to find answers from the liquor authority as to how did they come to this conclusion. What is it that they say he did so wrong? Because according to him, he's quite certain that there's nothing wrong that he did at his establishment.
No, it's a very interesting development then, quite concerning that they wouldn't see the need to inform him first and rush to publish a statement stating that they have suspended the license because he is the owner that is mostly affected by this. Yes, the community has lost, but it's important to deal with this simultaneously where you're speaking to community members, but also the one person who is also affected by this, being the owner, is notified or interviewed and asked even further about his security measures. But beyond this, insofar as the memorial service is concerned, who are we expecting, perhaps political party leaders or community leaders, any dignitaries expected today?
Well, at this particular point, Fundo, all we know is that community members will be gathering here, of course, alongside the family, just to pay tributes to those 4 victims that died in this particular incident. We know that this memorial service was planned by a group of men that have come together and form a committee here in this community. Recall, Fundo, that 2 days ago, this was the same committee that accompanied the tavern owner, Petros Mtambo, to visit some of these families, to go and apologize to some of these families, and of course offer his sympathies and condolences to these families. So they have been meeting on a regular basis just to try and perhaps, see a way in which they can assist the families, see a way in which they can, try and show these families that really what happened here was just an act, something that was really unexpected, something very unfortunate, and trying to mediate between the tavern owner and those particular families. In fact, we spoke to one of the families just 2 days ago, confirming that they had been visited by Petros Mtambo, and that they had accepted his apology, they had accepted what he had said to them, but of course they say that they believe that it was also simply an act of criminality. So we're going to hear more details. We know that the former MEC here in KwaZulu-Natal was among those men in that particular committee, but also there were also councillors and other prominent business people here in the community who are part of that council. So we're expecting to hear a lot more from the community themselves as well as the families as to how this has really affected them. There are lots of speakers that are expected to take place, but But of course, many questions are still unanswered. The motive is still unknown at this particular point. But what these families are hoping for is some sort of answers and some sort of assurance from authority that this is receiving the most or the highest priority in terms of investigations, and that there will actually be people that are charged for it. We do know that there were 2 people that have been arrested so far, but as far as charges are concerned, the police have not confirmed whether they've been charged or not. So we are expecting to hear a lot more from the families about what the expectations are in this particular case.
All right, Mangoba, we'll leave it there for now. Thank you very much for that update. That's reporter Mangoba Mkhunu out in Pietermaritzburg for us. And that's where I leave it for today.